It's Alicia Kramer. In this Mentor Minutes, I want to walk you through a brief but powerful exercise to help you identify your limiting beliefs. What I'm going to ask you to do is make sure that you have a pen and paper handy, and I want you to get clear on one specific goal, just one. What is something that you have been saying to yourself? I want this so bad. I truly want this. And as you're reflecting on that, you're going to notice that there are some very legitimate reasons that you desire that goal. There are things that you can clearly identify that are really good about you having that particular goal. But now here is where we have to uncover the limiting beliefs. And this is going to require a tremendous amount of self-honesty. And this is why you need to write this down. We're going to start to purge out some of your negative self-talk. And when you get it out on paper, that's going to allow you to go back and look and see more clearly and objectively what your beliefs are. Now, as you're going through this, because you're not always as objective with yourself as you would like for yourself to be, you have to really practice some pretty sincere self-discipline. It takes a lot of work not to buy in to the very story, the self-limiting story that you have grown so good at telling yourself. So now, as you're going through this, you are going to write down all the reasons why you don't have what you want. You haven't been able to get what you want up to this point. And whatever your story is around this, so just vent it all out. Get it out on paper. I want you to be as honest with yourself as you can. This is the time when we're going to invite that whiny, complainy voice to come out. Okay. This is not the time to repress those things or to try to pretend that they're not coming up for you. You have to be disciplined enough to say, if this is coming up, if I'm thinking this right now, I'm going to write it down. Then you're going to, when you're all done with that, you're going to sit down and you're really going to look at these things. You're going to look at what you wrote down. And you're going to notice that much of what you wrote there is what I would refer to, as a lot of people would refer to, as very low vibrational. Now, what does that actually mean? That means that it doesn't feel good. That means that whatever emotions you have associated with whatever that belief is that you wrote down, if it doesn't feel good, then it is not based on a higher truth. It is what we refer to as a limiting belief. A limiting belief is a belief that limits you. Seems self-explanatory, but sometimes we have to look at this in a really practical, sort of pragmatic way, almost as though it is academic, so that we can start to reduce the emotion that tends to cloud our objectivity. And it's that objectivity that helps us to say, wait a second, if this is just a belief and it is limiting me, then that must mean that there is a different belief that I could adopt instead that is much more empowering than that one. That begins the process of objectively seeing, showing your mind that it doesn't have to be this way. Now, what I'm going to recommend that you do is use one of your favorite tools, maybe a releasing process, maybe some breath work to help release stuck emotions, some EFT, some type of process that will help you now to take the negative emotional charge off of those beliefs. And I go into this more inside of the Inner Game Academy. If you're not already a member, make sure you take advantage of your free 1-month trial. If for the only reason other than to learn some of these releasing processes and then cancel, that's fine. But you have to have some way to take the negative emotional charge off of these limiting beliefs that you've identified. The trick here is self-honesty. Too many times we are holding on to our limiting beliefs because we're not willing to admit to ourselves it's just a belief. We are convincing ourselves that it is a real issue. It is a real disempowering, unfortunate, unfavorable thing that we just can't do anything about. And that is simply not true. So now I'm going to encourage you to take some time, 5-10 minutes. I will continue to encourage you to go deep, deep, deep into all of your limiting beliefs on your big goals and clean this stuff up. So with that, we're going to wrap up this Mentor Minutes. Remember, this is an actionable practice. I want you to implement it. Consider me your coach right now. I am coaching you. I'm holding you accountable to your goal, which means you write it down. Write down what that goal is, that desire, and get brutally honest with yourself about what your stories are. Why haven't you achieved that goal? Why hasn't it worked up to this point? What is your woe is me story? What are you avoiding? What aren't you good at? What is the unfortunate stuff that just keeps adversely affecting you? Whatever your excuses are, you're going to write those down, and then you're going to use whatever type of releasing process you prefer, and you're going to start to clean up that negative energy. And with that, we will see you in another Mentor Minutes.